Great morning, you guys. Come on in. Come on in. Hmm. You guys come on in. I'm going to share, but first I'm going to do this, okay? So y'all bear with me. Great morning, Summerlin. How are you, gorgeous? Good to see you. Good to see you. Y'all come on in. Let me know who's here, where you're tuning in from. Hey, April. Good to see you. Great morning. Y'all come on in. Come on in. Baby, this word. See, I know, because I'm going to tell y'all something about God. I can always tell when he's going in a direction that I'm like, I don't want to necessarily go in that direction because I don't know what you're getting ready to do. And that's what today is going to be. It's going to be one of those. One of those where he's going in a direction that I don't know what he's going to do. All right. Kansas City, Missouri in the house. I love it. I love it, April. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yes, yes, yes. So I'm gonna give folks a second to get in because I am behind time. So let people catch up. Let me go ahead and share. Okay. Hit these groups real quick. Hey, Jackie. Yes, Georgia in the building. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Yes. So Georgia, Ohio, we've got Missouri. So let's get started with this word. Um, okay, I'll check it. I'll check it, Summerlin. I'll check it. So one of the things that is happening right now is God is interrupting our schedule. Um, there are things that we may have had scheduled, things that we may have had planned that God is interrupting. So this morning, hey April, thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to try to make sure this doesn't fall, y'all. It's a little off, so I'm gonna try to get it together. Someone said, "Good morning, beautiful sisters and brothers." So check this out. Let me do this while I'm doing that. There's our time and our timing, and God's time and His timing. There's what we want to do, and there's what God wants to do. And God is interrupting our regularly scheduled programming. April said, "Good morning, Sister Summerlin." Um, he's interrupting our regularly scheduled program. What does that mean, Dr. V? It means that there are some things that you're not going to be able to do the way that you've done them in the past. There's some things that you're not going to be able to do the way you've done them in the past. It's a shift. Y'all know I just realized I'm tripping letting my coffee get cold in a coffee mug when I've got this that keeps it hot. That's so crazy to me. Thank you, God, for reminding me this morning. He interrupted my regularly scheduled programming to remind me that he had another plan. For the past few days, I've been off, right? I've just been off. It hadn't been able to like really come together. And I realize that it's a part of the shifting. Um, my body's been extremely tired. It's been challenging for me to focus. My energy level has been down. And in the natural, I would say that I'm having a flare up, right? Um, but it's more than what's going on in the natural. There's something that's going on in the spirit realm. And even though I don't always realize what I've poured out, it doesn't change the fact that it's been poured out, right? So God has been trying to steal me, disrupt my regularly scheduled programming so that my body can recuperate. Where is God disrupting your regularly scheduled programming? What is it that you've been trying to do that you normally do that you're not able to do the way you normally do it? How is God shifting you and what does it mean? What I understand is in this season of shift, because God is doing things quickly, that it's almost like, okay, have you ever seen a movie about time travel? And when they go back in time or go forward in time, when they travel through time, once they land in a place, there's like this thing that happens to their body and they like throw up. Okay. They throw up because their body has been separated, brought back together, and there is incredible strain on the body. You need to understand the shifts that are taking place are placing strain on your body. Don't be surprised if God steals you, if he makes you be still, if he slows you down, if he shifts some things and rearranges some things so that your body can recover. I know that we want to always be going. We want to always be moving. We want to always be doing. But God says that he's interrupting our regularly scheduled programming because there's some things that he's doing. Now, you may not let him interrupt your programming, right? You may say, well, God, I can't afford for my programming to be interrupted. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. I've got to make this happen. I've got to make that happen. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. What's going to happen is God is still going to interrupt your programming. He's just going to do it without your participation. And he'll shut you down. Just shut your whole body down. And then you're going to be mad because not only are you having to be still, but you can't even control it. When God is interrupting our regularly scheduled programming, that means that there is a special announcement. There is something special that's happening or something special that's getting ready to happen. And when that occurs, know that God is up to something. So right before any major move of God, There has to be a period where you're kind of still. Your stillness allows God to do what he needs to do to build you up, to fortify you, to give you the fortitude, the strength, the discipline, and the determination to go through whatever you're getting ready to go through in making this massive shift and this major change coming in your life. And the major change may be spiritual. It may be that God is just doing something spiritually inside of you. It may be that he's taking you to deeper depths in him, that he's revealing the hidden mysteries to you. But whatever it is, he needs you at full capacity. And you cannot be at full capacity if you are exhausted. God is shifting. So he's interrupting your regularly scheduled programming. Look, I just say what he says. And most of the time, all of the time, he's talking to me too. I realized yesterday that my body was like, and I was like, oh, wow. Like today, I know it's a day where it's a work from bed day. It's a day where I'm going to be like in the bed working, right? But not doing a lot of moving. I got to do some moving, but I'm not doing a lot of moving. And I'm not doing a lot of moving because I understand that there's a shift that's happening. There's something that's coming. And I need to be rested for it. You need to be rested for what God is getting ready to do. You're going to have to carve out time, or God is going to make you take time to rest. Rest is important. It's crucial, y'all. It's so funny that I'm talking about this because I teach y'all psychology, and last night I was talking about sleep, the importance of sleep, what sleep does for us, what happens when we don't sleep. And I've not been sleeping well. I've not been getting sleep. I've been up. My mind has been racing. I've been going it's just like it's on. You've got to give your body recuperation time. Now, let me tell you what I realized. That a lot of my brain working overtime is rooted in my saboteurs. So let's talk about them for just a minute, okay? In this place that I'm in, I have this stickler thing that shows up, and the stickler wants everything done a certain way, wants extreme order, right? But it always takes a lot out of me to get that. Like, it takes a lot out of me physically to produce the environment that I want to be in. So it requires extra stuff physically that takes a toll on me, right? It's one of the reasons that there were things that I stopped doing because I knew the toll it took on my body, right? So I have to get things to a place and then be able to keep the order without draining my body. Okay. There are things that I just want done for my husband. I want to do for my husband, right? But the truth of the matter is we expended a lot of energy over the weekend. We did a lot. So we were in church Thursday night. We were in church Friday night. Saturday morning, we got up. He drove to Alabama. So I know his body is like, okay. We went to Alabama. My baby drove there. We spent the day there. I had to do an hour session on genealogy, which I poured out a lot. And then we celebrated with them. And then we came back again. My husband drove, but we didn't get back until later. Went to sleep, had to get up early because guess what? I had to drive by, I had church. Then we were preparing for the pastor's anniversary. And we had to do that. We set that up, we served, we broke it down, we cleaned up, we packed up, we came home. It was a lot. Monday, I started new classes. So all of this stuff is going on, and I have a way I like things done. I have a desire for perfection, which is a saboteur, right? I have hyperachiever tendencies, which is a saboteur. So I've got to, kill my saboteurs because they've got me operating in a level of anxiety. Because normally at the start of a semester, listen, at the start and at the end of a semester, I have increased anxiety. I remember not even realizing that I really had anxiety until I had a major anxiety attack. And I was like, oh my God, wait a minute. I've been teaching about it for so long. And then I saw it. I was like, ooh, that's what's been going on with me. So I didn't understand it, but now I understand it. So there's an increase in anxiety. It's all online. They have different standards. Like my mind is racing. I want to do a great job. I'm trying to navigate it, but I started feeling a little overwhelmed, right? So this is when knowing your saboteurs and knowing what is happening in you and around you and what you need to do, right? How to kill those saboteurs. I literally have a lot going on. And I've been on kind of a real slow roll, right? Even though it wasn't really slow because I was planning a wedding. Like it was, my life this has been an amazing year. It's been a very great year, but there's been a lot of emotional pull. And what I've noticed is with the prophetic drive-by, on the drive-bys, I'm pouring out even more. It's different. It's different. Like it's different. There's another level to it, right? Even with the classes, it's different. There's another level to it. So it means that I'm pulling from a place that I've not necessarily been consistently operating in. I'm pulling from a place that my capacity has to be strengthened in, right? April said, he's definitely slowed me down almost to a standstill. I remember being in that place, April. I remember being there. Catherine said, interrupt my program, guy. Yes. Mike said, I knew that was going to come from you. I heard it. I'm going to need you to start my business, Prophet, okay? But you all, I need you to get this. And the reason that I need you to get it is I don't want any of us to be brought to a place of still because we wouldn't listen and get still. I don't want any of us to be brought to a place of still because we wouldn't listen and get still. So God had to allow something to make us be still. We've got to understand that what God is doing is so big that we have to learn how to navigate all of the stuff that comes with it. The emotions, the doubts, all of that. We have to get into a place. This is why you got to know the things that are blocking you from your destiny. Once you know that, then you can begin to put the tools in place, the mechanisms in place, so that you don't keep doing the same thing over and over again because you're going to get the same result. Mike said untamed anxiety will shut you down, right? So this is why understanding what's at the root of it, understanding what triggers it, and then implementing those things that assist you in navigating it, right? In killing off your saboteurs, understanding the power of PQ reps, doing things to build up your positive intelligence, your muscles in that area so that your capacity increases. Your capacity only increases with exercise of the muscles required to carry the load that you've been called to carry. If you are to get to destiny, if I am to get to destiny, if we are to get to destiny, then we got to build up the muscles and the fortitude so that we know what to do when, so that we can carry the weight of our assignment. We got to do the work though. So, God will begin to interrupt your regularly scheduled programming. And so what I've had to learn to do is allow God to interrupt and shift me. Allow God to interrupt and slow me down. Allow God to interrupt and teach me how not to over commit. There you go. That's a word for you. Teach me how to under promise and over deliver. Although I tend to under promise, like in the things that I do, the classes that I do, and over deliver. But where I don't do it is in my time. I can't get to where God is taking me in destiny, navigating my time and putting unnecessary pressures on myself based on my saboteurs, based on my stickler. I want the house to be perfect, right? And if not perfect, very much in order. you know, and I'm still getting a rhythm. I'm having to develop a rhythm for what it is I do when it comes to the house, what it is I do. Because, I've got two classes, not one, two classes with 25, 26 students in each class, right? I gotta develop the rhythm for it, right? Plus the other stuff that I do. I got to develop my rhythm. I've got to create my schedule. I've got to harness my time and my brain power. It's so funny because I feel the shift going back into, because I had been shut down almost to a standstill. I would do some things periodically, but did not look. I'm telling y'all how God works. Remember in March when I said, hey, listen, we got to get ready because April is going to be crazy. Like it's going to be one thing quick on the heels of another. So we've got to get ready for that because things are going to move very quickly. Didn't I say that? Look, I needed to, I'm trying to catch up because everything's happening so fast, right? But this is why it's very important that you have ways of dealing with and navigating your assignment, the weight of it. I was talking to our daughter Tasha yesterday, and I was talking about the weight of the assignment that God has given me, and understanding that He's given me an assignment in the city. He's given me assignment in the family. He's given me an assignment for the world, right? And for the kingdom, it can become a lot. Because to whom much is given, much is required. But that also means that you have to understand how to offload. and not carry things, how to not allow things that are not important to weigh you down, how to not stay in negative thoughts, negative emotions, anything that drains you too long. It's one of the reasons that I know that I have to have relationships where I am poured into. I've got to develop time to be poured into because I pour out so much all the time. So I have to allow myself to be poured into. I have to be able to release things. I have to, I'm just talking about me. As I'm talking about me, I want you to think about you. I have to know that if it's not perfect, it's okay. If everything's not done, it's okay. It's okay, yes, Mike, to find God's pace, right? And pace yourself. You can't do everything all at once. So you have to allow God to give you what to do and when to do it. The beautiful thing is, I believe this month is going to be a lot because this is the month where he's laying foundation. And then once the foundation is laid, it's easier, right? But this month is a laying of foundation month. And so as he's laying the foundation of what my life is going to look like, now that I am situated and I'm settled, now it's like, okay, now I need you to get your pace. I need you to uh, I need you to create what works for you so that you can do what I need you to do the way I need you to do it. That means that I have to figure it out. Now, he interrupts my regularly scheduled program to help me figure it out so that I can be still long enough to figure it out. If you've got to take some time to plan, to organize, to schedule, so that you can do what it is that God has called you to do, take that time. It's better to spend that time doing that than to be trying to keep just running and not having a plan, not having a schedule, not having that mapped out. It's easy to find yourself just constantly doing and moving and going and not able to sleep. So I know one of the things I have to do is I have to schedule time for responding to my students' posts and comments and things. I have to schedule it. If I don't, I will always feel like I've got to be doing it. I need to do it. I can't rest because I got to do this or I got to do that, or has it been 48 hours, or like I'll be running. I've gotta schedule it. It can't be free flowing just all throughout the day. It can't be, because then it means that I can't complete everything because, I've got to do this, but I still need to do this. And I don't have time for that. I know that today is a day where I'm doing some scheduling. This morning, after this, I'm going to be organizing my life the same way I organize the house, the same way I organize laundry, the same way I organize anything else. I've got to organize my day, my time, my life. I've got to take some time and just map things out. And this is what I want to encourage you to do. And I know some of y'all may say, Dr. V, but I work, right? All the more reason why you need to schedule your time. All the more reason. So today I'm going to be chunking, right? I'm going to develop a schedule for chunking. Now, something about me, I don't like alarms. I don't like stuff going off. I don't like it. I don't like notifications. I don't like anything that is a repetitive sound that keeps happening. It tends to aggravate me and agitate me. Okay. So my husband lives by alarms. He lives by alarms. He lives by alarms. But he's very scheduled. It keeps him scheduled. It keeps him on track. And so his response to me was, well, set your alarm. Set an alarm so that you can set an alarm. Set an alarm. I'd be like, I don't want to set an alarm because then I got to turn my volume up on my phone. Then I got to turn the volume up on my phone. That means my phone going to go off. I don't want my phone going off. I don't like it. But guess what? That thing where those sounds agitate me is also rooted in saboteurs, because it triggers that feeling that if the alarm goes off, then I'm allowing something to control me, right? So I have to change my perspective. You all, so much of the things, so many of the things that we struggle with, it's rooted in our perspective. And when we begin to shift our perspective on things, then we can make the necessary adjustments. We can increase our capacity. We can get more done, accomplish more. We can include rest and self-care, because that's part of it. But we have to be willing to pause long enough to create a schedule for our life, because otherwise, do you know what we do? We procrastinate. What is procrastinate? Which saboteur is procrastination rooted in? Anybody remember? Let me see if I can pull this up. Anybody remember which saboteur procrastination is rooted in? That stickler. That stickler where, hey, listen, we got to have it perfect. And if it can't be perfect, you won't do it at all, right? So listen to stickler. Stickler is avoider. Come on, Mike. Yes, April. Yes. Perfectionism and a need for order and organization taken too far. Characteristics of a stickler: punctual, methodical, perfectionistic. Can be irritable, tense, opinionated, sarcastic. Others, strong need for self-control and self-restraint. Works overtime to make up for others' sloppiness and laziness. Is highly sensitive to criticism. The thoughts: right is right and wrong is wrong. I know the right way. If you can't do it perfectly, don't do it at all. Others too often have lax standards. I need to be more organized and methodical than others so things get done. I hate mistakes. The feelings: constant frustration and disappointment with self and others for not living up to high standards. Anxious that others will mess up the order and balance it has created. Sarcastic or self-righteous overtones. Oh, I got to check myself. Suppressed anger and frustration, right? Now, listen, this is stickler. The justification lies, and then I'm going to go into avoider, because I know my stuff is a combination of stickler and avoider. Y'all know those were my top two, right? Stickler and avoider were my top two. Justification lies. These are the lies we tell ourselves. This is a personal obligation. It's up to me to fix whatever mess I encounter. Perfectionism is good, plus it makes me feel better about myself. There's usually a clear right way and a clear wrong way to do things. I know how things should be done and must do the right thing. Listen, now the impact on self and others. Now this is where it gets really deep, right? It causes rigidity and reduces flexibility in dealing with change and differing styles of others. It's a source of ongoing anxiety and frustration. Causes resentment, anxiety, self-doubt, and resignation in others who feel continually criticized and resign themselves to the fact that no matter how hard they work, they will never please the stickler. Now, let me go to the avoider. The avoider, a focus on the positive and pleasant in an extreme way, an avoidance of difficult and unpleasant tasks and conflict. This is where we get the procrastination. Avoids conflict and says yes to things that aren't actually desired. Downplays importance of some real problems and tries to deflect others. has difficulty saying no, resists others through passive aggressive means rather than directly, loses self in comforting routines and habits, procrastinates on unpleasant tasks. Here we go. The thoughts, this is just too unpleasant. Maybe if I let it go, it will take care of itself. If I deal with this now, I will hurt someone's feelings. I'd rather not. If I get into conflict with others, I might lose my connection with them. I found balance. I don't want to mess with it. I'd rather give someone else his or her way than create a scene. The feelings, tries to remain even keeled, feels anxiety about what has been avoided or procrastinated on. Oh my God, my avoider has been triggered. Oh my goodness. Fears hard-won peace of mind being interrupted. Suppresses anger and resentment, which means that it builds up and explodes. Justification lies, the lies that we tell ourselves when the avoider is operating in our life. You are a good person to spare other people's feelings. No good comes out of conflict. It is good to be flexible. Someone needs to be the peacemaker, okay? The impact on self and others. So let's talk about how does this affect you and how does it affect others, those around you. Denying the conflicts and negativities that do exist prevent the avoider from actually working with them and turning them into gifts. Feeling numb to pain is different than knowing how to harvest the wisdom and power of pain. What is avoided doesn't go away and festers. Relationships are kept superficial through conflict avoidance. Others' trust level is reduced because they're not sure when negative information is being withheld. So there are some things that are triggered in teaching that I normally would go to the avoider. This is really the first time that I've been teaching since I've discovered my saboteurs. So this is triggering. It's triggering my normal responses to some things. So now what I have to do is, in the context of this, I have to now use the things that I've learned in order to kill the avoider in this context. You may kill certain saboteurs in certain contexts because you've done this in this context. But when you go into another context, it may rise up again because the context triggers it. Listen, oh my God, it's amazing. In my health psychology class, we were talking about health promoting behaviors, health changing behaviors. How do you help people to create change? And it's so hilarious to me how I incorporate all of the things that I teach, all of the things that I've learned into the programs that I develop for people. So I realized that I do the things that I'm teaching, even if I don't necessarily know consciously that that's what I'm doing. So I was talking about how there are when people are likely to relapse, okay? This is something I'm going to talk about when it comes to saboteurs, because there are times that we're likely to relapse into our saboteurs. And I believe that that's an important piece that we need to understand in that model, right? In the positive intelligence model, we need to understand that old situations that we haven't encountered since we developed or gained that knowledge can trigger a relapse to those behaviors and those patterns. You have to recognize the behavior and the pattern so that you can apply the new principles, the techniques, so that you can learn how to use it in that context, which is why, this is how everything go together, right? Which is why the No More Sabotage 6-week supercharge is important. Well, why is it important, Dr. V? Because you will encounter situations where you may have been practicing killing your saboteurs in a certain context. But now you're in another context, and that context in and of itself triggers your saboteurs. The context triggers it, right? So now you have to practice killing your saboteurs in that context. You've got to understand what's going on. You've got to get to a place where you face what you need to face. You deal with what you need to deal with, and everything starts with you. So the No More Sabotage 6-week supercharge is designed to give you 6 weeks of concentrated effort. Now, for me, as I'm teaching this time, it's going to be a little different. Last time I taught it, I was not teaching my university classes, right? I know there are things about teaching that trigger certain things. Once I get a pattern, once I get a flow, I'm good. There's some things that I just tend not to like. I don't particularly care for grading. It's not one of my favorite things to do, okay? Because people get so caught up in it, and then, look, people want to get mad. It's just a lot to it, okay? Right? But check this out. I want you to understand. I want you to see what saboteurs are at work. Listen to my words and what I'm saying, right? And I want you to identify the saboteurs at work. So as I've been working on killing these saboteurs, now I've got to put it in this arena, okay? So I tend to not like grading. I tend to not like grading because I feel like people personalize grading. They take it personally. And when you have people that are perfectionists, they want to get everything right. They want 100%. They don't understand when they lose points. You know, I can't afford to lose any points. I need to make 100. Why do you need to make 100 if a 90 is an A? And there's some things that you need to improve on, or some things that you did a great job, it just wasn't perfect, right? But listen to my words, and I want you to tell me when you hear a saboteur, right? You hear some of those thoughts. So, people are, and then, they want to get mad. Then I got to deal with all of that. And I like for my students to like me. Y'all, what saboteur y'all hear? What saboteur is that? My coffee ain't even in this cup. See, this is how we get used to things. My coffee over here where it can stay hot. What saboteur is that? I don't like grading. I put off grading because grading means that I'm going to run the risk of pleaser. Absolutely, April. I never understood that about me. I never understood that at the root of it was my pleaser. Absolutely, the pleaser. The pleaser. The pleaser wants people to like, accept, and love them. The pleaser. So I've had to intentionally, because pleaser was another one of my top saboteurs, not do some things because I didn't want to do it from the place of the pleaser. You gotta love me even if I don't do everything you want me to do. Now, let me tell you where I've been really good at doing that, and that's with my husband. Like, there are things to him that it's a small thing to him, but to me, like, I don't want to just do everything because I'm afraid you're not going to love me. I'm afraid that you're not going to accept me. I'm afraid. So there are things that I am not willing to change at this point in my life because I don't feel like I need to change them. And I don't want to be operating as just a pleaser. Okay? Even in our marriage, though, sometimes the pleaser shows up, right? Well, it's the root. It's what it's rooted in. So I want to please him, but I don't want to be a pleaser. I don't feel like if I don't do everything that he wants me to do the way he wants me to do it, when he wants me to do it, he's not going to love me. So I do make compromises. So it's not that I don't compromise. I do compromise, but I choose not to compromise from the place of fear of him leaving, fear of him not liking me anymore, fear of him not loving me. fear of losing his affection. I refuse to operate from that space. But here we have another context, and the pleaser is showing up. I won't do it with church. I won't do it with church. Okay? So God is growing me. God is growing me in these areas. So I have to confront the pleaser. Now, I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about the pleaser, but first, angel number 66. Let me look that up. Is this helping you guys? Angel number 66 is a sign of balance, harmony, and love. It is a positive message from the angels that you are on the right track. If you keep seeing this number, it is a sign that you are surrounded by love and support. Use the number 66 in your life to help you find balance and harmony. Good, Mike. Because listen, you can try to please everybody and be miserable yourself. Are you doing them a favor? No, you're not. So let's look at the pleaser. This is just a quick little reminder. I'm just reminding y'all. Okay. Hold on. The pleaser is an indirect attempt to gain acceptance and affection by helping, pleasing, rescuing, or flattering others. Loses sight of own needs and becomes resentful as a result. Is your pleasing behavior being effective if you become resentful? Because that resentfulness will come out in some negative ways. So the characteristics: has a strong need to be liked and attempts to earn it by helping, pleasing, rescuing, or flattering other people. Needs frequent reassurance of the acceptance and affection of others. Can't express own needs openly and directly. Does so indirectly by making people feel obligated to reciprocate. All right. What are the thoughts of the pleaser? To be a good person, I should put the needs of others ahead of my own. Y'all, listen, I know in church y'all was taught Jesus, others, yourself. Look, let me tell y'all something. Jesus didn't say that. That's what we said in the church. You got to understand something. You got to understand that Jesus, let me tell y'all something. When Jesus was about his assignment, when he had healed the people, right? He stopped. He took time to go, be alone, recharge, spend time with the Father. Remember, his public ministry didn't even start until he was 30. That meant the first 30 years of his life, he was being developed for the assignment that would last 3 years. And he knew that there were times, they were on the boat, it's a storm. Jesus was what? Resting. He was asleep because he had just, fed people, healed people. Like, he was drained and his body needed to be restored. So he slept. We need to be helping others out of our overflow instead of out of our cup. We barely got anything in our cup and we're still trying to just put others before us. Stop it. It doesn't make you a better person. That you are willing to be a martyr for what? Right? This is not even being a martyr for something significant, but so that people can like you and feel like you're a good person. So what if they don't feel like you're a good person? Let me tell you something. I spent my life trying to be seen as a good person. And I put myself in situations and binds and things because I was trying to be seen as a good person. Well, guess what? Sometimes a good person says no. Sometimes a good person takes time out for themselves. A good person understands that one of the best ways that you can help people is by showing people how to help themselves. A good person. It's not what we think. It's not doing everything for people. It's not always being available. It's not always answering your phone. It's not those things. But we've convinced ourselves that it is. So, what are some of the justification lies? Oh, let me deal with the thoughts. To be a good person, I should put the needs of others ahead of my own. It bothers me when people don't notice or care about what I have done for them. They can be so selfish and ungrateful. Angel number 66. I give away too much and don't think of myself enough. I can make anyone like me. You can't. If I don't rescue people, who will? God. The feelings. Expressing own needs directly feels selfish. Worried that insisting on own needs may drive others away, and resents being taken for granted but has difficulty expressing it. Like, I've had to learn how to articulate things and communicate my thoughts and my feelings. Justification lies. Lies, I say. I don't do this for myself. I help others selflessly and don't expect anything in return. The world would be a better place if everyone did the same. No. And then the impact on self and others. It can jeopardize taking care of one's own needs, whether emotional, physical, or financial. Can lead to resentment and burnout. Others can develop dependence rather than learning to take care of themselves and feel obligated, guilty, or manipulated. Look, Father God, right now in the name of Jesus, we declare healing for Tasha. We declare that every assignment of the enemy against her is canceled. And God, everything that, oh, Tasha, baby, you got to rest. Your brain is not resting. Your body is not resting. And you're on overload. And you got to go back and watch this, because this is really going to make sense to you. And now I understand why. Listen, just go back and watch the live. I love you. I'm so glad you're okay, baby. I need you to know that. But let's talk about how we can keep you okay. So the pleaser normally has felt abandoned in childhood, not good enough. And so being a pleaser is the way that they try to maintain connection with people. Okay. Now, I had to get to the point where even if people don't like me, I've got to be true to myself and, most importantly, true to God, right? And what God calls me to do. So that means that I have to intentionally sometimes not do things so that I'm not doing them from the wrong place. Okay. I talked about this yesterday. So these saboteurs are at work in our life. Our next 6-week No More Sabotage 6-week supercharge is starting on Monday. Starting Monday. And it's going to be 6 weeks of concentrated effort and focus on your saboteurs. It's really 7 weeks. It's really 7 weeks. I should say 7 weeks, but and this is what I know. I know this next round of 6-7 weeks is going to produce another level of change in my life, because God is giving me some insight to things that is really going to help me. And in the process, help me help you. But I want you to be real clear that what I'm doing, and it's to help me first. That sounds selfish, right? No, it's to help me first. he's showing me some, he's showing me some things. Every time I teach, he shows me something new. And it's so funny because anyone who's taking my classes and they sit in on another class, they're like, oh, you didn't say that. You didn't say that in our class, or that didn't come out like that in our class, or oh, this is new. Because God is constantly evolving and adding to. So this 6 weeks program is going to give you the opportunity to apply these principles in a new place in your life. Okay? Because it's easy to forget. It's easy to find yourself not doing what you need to do. Now, let me say this. Hold on, let me put the link up for it so that you guys will know where to go to register for it. I am doing I knew that was coming. You ever seen something happening and then you can't stop it? It's like it's too late. It's going to happen anyway, but it's okay. So with the 6 weeks supercharge, to register, you need to go to bit.ly/Nomo Supercharge 1. It's going to give you the Nomo Sabotage. It's going to give you the Nomo Sabotage 1 and 2. We're going to talk about the saboteurs. We're going to go through them, help you to identify yours, as well as teach you how to kill them, right? Learning strategies to help move you from just surviving to thriving. It's a 7-week commitment for real, okay? The first week is just kind of an orientation. We're just kind of setting the stage, getting started, right? Going through some basic information. We're going to go over the saboteurs and things. But y'all, listen, if you really want to create change in your life, be intentional about it. What I am doing, though, is you'll be able to get the No More Sabotage, the 6 weeks program for $300 rather than $333. You'll be able to get it for $300. You'll be able to get the VIP one, which comes with 2 1-hour VIP sessions individually, for $400. And you will be able to get the No More Sabotage, the VIP 2, which comes with 4 sessions over time. You can use them then, or you can use them later. Okay. So go register for the class. Afterpay is available. You can use Afterpay to cover the class, which means that you need to have 1/4 of whatever the price is. So for the $300 one, you need to have $75 at the time that you register. Classes start Monday night at 7 p.m. Classes start Monday night at 7 p.m. So you're going to want to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're going to want to go ahead and register so that you don't miss this. Now, I'm going to tell y'all this thing that God is doing in this season. If you could have pushed it out on your own, you would have. If you could have made the changes that you need to make on your own, then it would already be done. And if it's not done, it simply is an indication that you just need some support and some help. And there's nothing wrong with needing help. There's nothing wrong with needing help. That's what these programs are for, to help you get help. Okay? God is calling us to stop just relying on a word but not doing anything with it. Because we don't have the tools, the strategy, and the skill sets to do something with it. Until we can apply the principles necessary to remove the things that are blocking us from getting to destiny, we'll always be stuck almost there. Living in purpose, but never getting to our destiny. Getting to your destiny, first of all, is going to require you removing those saboteurs, those things that have blocked you, that keep showing up, that keep raising its ugly head in your life. Now, we call it the enemy, but some of it is simply the inner me, the inner you that is coming up, your responses to trauma that you've experienced. We will super spiritualize everything, right? And yes, there is both the natural and the spirit that are at work simultaneously. But we'll try to focus on the spiritual and not deal with the natural. And it requires us dealing with the natural. It's time to deal with the natural. So, in order for you to remove those saboteurs, you're going to need to learn how to do it. You're going to need to have concentrated effort, accountability, dig deep, identify when it's showing up in your life so that you can call it out and you can kill it and cancel it. God is calling us to a higher level of accountability, and it requires us to do more work on us. I'm excited though, because this is a great place to be. It's exactly where God needs you to be right now in your life, so that you can see, so that you can get it, so that you can understand, and so that you can model for those who are called to you what it looks like to get on the other side of the stuff that has kept you stuck. I pray that this word has blessed you. I pray that you've gotten something out of it that you needed. Now, the $300 price is going to be good. God make me tired. I'm just telling y'all the truth. It makes me tired sometimes. It's going to be good till Sunday night. Sunday night at 11:59. That's when that'll close out. And then if you try to register on Monday, it's going to be the regular price, $333, $444, or $555. Let me tell you how God works. I wanted to say it's going to be good to Friday at midnight, right? Friday at 11:59, right? That's what I wanted to say, because it increases the urgency, right? God said no. He said Sunday night. I said, okay, God, look, this is why you got to understand, you got to do things the way God says do it, even if it's not the way the world says that you should do it. It creates another level of you don't fall into some of the trickery and manipulation. And I know that God is big on keeping me clear, keeping me clear, keeping me accountable. So that was me being transparent about what I wanted to do based on what I know about sales, and then what God said do based on what he want me to do. I got to go with God. I pray that this word blessed you. I pray that you got something out of it. I pray that it did for you what you needed it to do. And I pray that you apply the principles to your life, y'all, because it's time to get to destiny. It's time to get to the other side. And this is how we do it. So go register at bit.ly/Nomo Supercharge 1, bit.ly/Nomo Supercharge 1. I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Have an amazing, incredible, and epic day. Be blessed. Mwah.